I was at a point in my life to where I'm like, I have to be around the game of basketball. I have to be around sports. And I just got so frustrated to where I wanted to find an outlet for me to do what I love to do, as I once did when I was a kid. And that's how I started creating content on, sports. Why not sports? And been doing this since 2016. And now I'm to the point to where now I'm able to kind of bring along, my family, myself, and, former teammates and things like that, where I talk about the good, bad, and the ugly of sports and how it impacts your everyday life. It's crazy once, your career or you're done with playing, sports, or in this case, basketball. It's kind of like, what's next? And for me, it was just something that I knew whether I got paid for it or not, I was going to put myself in a position to where I can kind of not only relive my moment, my successful, playing days, but also let other people know that there are other things you can do that you love to do. Start with that first to find a good outlet and just find a good rhythm in life to where you don't feel like a has-been, or realizing that, man, what else should I do once, my playing career is done. So, now, don't get it twisted. As much success that I had on and off the court as a student athlete, decades ago, now trying to revisit that as a grown man and starting brand new with very little experience and not the credentials, so to speak, just lack of confidence and not knowing which direction, I should go. But just knowing that if I stay the course, just kept chipping away. Granted, it was, we have plenty of sports shows. Did you ever go to school for journalism, communication, even broadcasting? And no, I didn't. But at the same time, I knew I had something I can talk about, to where if I kept being persistent, I kept kind of letting people know what the story of Why Not Sports was, just being able to create content regarding, sports and how it impacts our everyday life. I knew that ultimately it'll be something that no matter where I go in the world, I can have people relate and understand, and also, give them something to kind of look forward to, because it is a lot of stories, whether it's, men or women, that has to be told. But now, just being confident and and knowing that, there is, something that I can present, and having a support group around me has been huge for me to overcome that setback of lack of confidence and being unsure of myself and the naysayers and doubters. But ultimately, it was those around me and people endorsing and believing in, my mission has helped me to where I am today. Just believing in yourself. For me, especially being born and raised in Gary, Indiana, playing high school basketball in Chicago, I was definitely told the level of competition is much more competitive, and I wasn't, talented enough. And what are the odds that I can really, make a name for myself in a large pool of student athletes? But I knew what I can do. I knew with hard work, perseverance, that I can definitely make a name for myself in the high school level in the state of Illinois. Ultimately, made All-State. Ultimately, I broke a lot of records, including most rebounds in a game, most rebounds in a career, and ended up going to play in Division I basketball and graduating with an accounting degree. And how that transfer over into, my content and just as an entrepreneur, coming about maybe about 7 years ago, was just frustrated with, a situation at my current employer, and was like, I got to put myself in a position to succeed and do something I love to do. And why not talk about sports? Why not talk about basketball and how it's been able to help you advance in life? And the fact that I've been able to have a lot of supporters, to where I've been recognized on magazines, recognized by receiving awards, and having so many people encourage and support me when, as an independent, as you guys know, I don't have the the large media backing at this moment. But at the same time, when people, do their research and evaluate what I present and how often I've been doing it and how long I've been doing it, it's definitely now being recognized and taken more serious than if I didn't put myself out there and even to this day compete with the larger markets or larger media companies. So just believe in yourself and you'd be surprised how far it takes you. What would I tell my 21-year-old self? Junior at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, stubborn, hard-headed, not really utilizing my resources like I should have. Definitely now I would tell myself with life experiences, make sure you listen to your coaches. Make sure you utilize the resources and sources that are given to you. Because for me, when I knew I was going to play at the next level, I felt like I can do everything myself. And that wasn't the case. Going into 6 months to a year later, one of the things I regret, even to this day, I've said that if I would have gave my coaches and the coaching staff the opportunity to help me, go to the next level when it comes to a game of basketball, whether it was on and off the court, I would have utilized that. So now I tell myself often, if anyone, because of my entrepreneurship journey, if they have resources, if they have the opportunity to help me and show me things that I know I can get better at, making sure I listen, put my pride aside, and just put yourself in a position to have a student mentality to where you don't know everything. So those would be a few things that I would tell my 21-year-old self if I had the opportunity to go back. So what's next? A few things is something I'm excited about as I continue to gain more exposure. Just being able to, travel throughout the states, being able to, let, athletes, whether current, former, or just people that's interested, is that, you're able to put yourself in a position where you can succeed. Once your career is done, you can still find ways and things that you love to do and passionate about to help you get that once, attention or that opportunity to be seen by people that you've, wanted to, be interested in, whether it was a company, a team, any type of organization. And another thing too is because of my platform, my podcast, being able to have more top tier guests that has, played at the highest level and done some remarkable things as far as giving back to the community. Because it's just not one thing when it comes to, being a, student athlete or just an athlete. It's things behind the scenes, as far as training for your particular sport and just showing people that overall you are well-rounded. So just wherever, just follow me, make sure you watch this journey, and don't be surprised what's next. Even after this long being, as an entrepreneur, why do people hire me? Why do people even give me a chance? You might ask. Resiliency, persistence. If you go just checking out my resume and the things that I've been able to do as an independent, again, I'm like I said earlier, not having the mainstream support or coming up with the credentials. I had to brick by brick work very hard to where now they see I'm authentic when they meet me in person. They've seen different video clips whether I was speaking, whether any events I was a part of, and including the podcast, which has been, active since 2016. And when you look at, just anybody, if you're going to get hired, what are the first thing they look at? What's your resume? What's your background? My background, 7 years. My resume, over 400 guests, over 600 episodes. Yeah, it's a lot. So when people look at that, they're like, okay, this guy's an independent. It's very serious, probably more serious than people with the credentials and people that are in mainstream that might take their job for granted. Self-funded. Like if I have an opportunity to go speak, I'm going to make sure I do my part to, make sure I make it happen and let money be the least of my worries and my concerns, and just making sure passion and just being overall, thankful that people are considering to give, this guy an opportunity to, tell his story and also shine light to others, student athletes in general, just people as a whole that do not give up on yourself, believe in yourself, and you'd be surprised how far you can go. First off, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Shea Brown and the team of the studio that has been very supportive. Like as soon as I stepped foot in, took pictures, was greeted, was welcomed, and was even told, hey, you have a story that needs to be shared to the world. And I'm like, wow, it made me feel like a family, done their research, and made me feel valuable, to the team and what I present. And also just being able to come here at this established, media company that's constantly growing, seeing something in me to where they've given me an opportunity to share my story, to help empower people. And also a future collaboration has started from this, because between them and me, there's no stopping us. There's more to come. I'm excited, and be on the lookout for either one of us, but we're coming. Can't stop, won't stop. Ain't no stopping us.